Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 456, we're going to talk about Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. I'm actually particularly excited about this deck. I can't wait to play it. Uh, so let's take a look, shall we? 3 mana, 2/2. She gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control. So that tells us we want to play with other legends, and we want to play with legends that have, some different colors. Now for Wooburg, we get to search our library for a legendary permanent with CMC less than her power and put it onto the battlefield. Well, she kind of feeds herself there in that the more legends you get out, the bigger she's got. Although it does seem like, barring some kind of shenanigans, 7/7 is what she tops out at. If you have the 5 other colors, because it says for each color among other legends. So if you have all 5 out, then she's a 7/7. You can go get all your 7 drops and below for the 5 mana, which doesn't inherently make it busted. However, I don't know if it's the fact that she has a white casting cost and Wooburg in the text box that pointed me in this direction. But I saw a really open line here. I want to talk about Celestial Dawn. Now, this whitewashes everything you've got. It effectively solves all your mana color problems. You can spend white mana as though it were mana of any color. Now, this card went through some power level errata back, I don't know, 10 years ago or better. But it is a great card. It does solve your problems as far as coming up with other, with all of the Wooburg manas. Because we know we've got to have white to cast our commander. Now, but playing Celestial Dawn allows us to do certain things that we wouldn't normally be able to do. So the problem is you stack the deck full of these high-cost legends, and you're going to draw some. So that means Fist of Suns is where that comes in at. So you can spend Wooburg, or how about 5 white? Right? You see where I'm going? 5 white mana to play instead of the mana cost of anything you've got. Now, Celestial Dawn also allows us to do other things like Armored Ascension, which if we put it on Sisay, then we can legit get anything out of the deck. With enough planes, you can get any legendary in the entire history of Magic. So, there's that. It also lets us play Brave the Elements. Now, check this out for some spicy legendary tech. Yeah, Daughter of Autumn. Because she is a legend, you can fetch her up, but you can redirect to her 1 damage dealt to a white creature, which is going to be all of your creatures. So you can protect your creatures by redirecting the damage here, albeit a mana per point. But and with the Celestial Dawn and the Fist of Suns, gosh, I love the Bringer cycle. I love the Bringer cycle, and I know that a lot of Morphon decks are being built as Bringers, just using the 5 Bringers and to play for free, but that's not here. Anyway, the Blue Bringer, drawing you 2 cards, the Black Bringer, Vamp tutoring for you, but most importantly, the White Bringer. Because what does the White Bringer do? At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to play. Now, I think that's what it says. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target Mindslaver from your graveyard to your hand or to play. Mindslaver is legendary. We can go fetch it with Sisay. So that's was kind of the route I was thinking. Now, granted, we're in white, so Board the Weatherlight helps quite a bunch. Speaking of boarding the Weatherlight, Sisay does lend herself to do the Weatherlight Saga deck, but I've already built that. That was way back deck number 100 if y'all want to go back and watch it. But where it's the entire story, that's a crazy long deck tech because I tell the story of the anyway. But once you get them into your hands, though, another way to put them out is Jorah. You just suspend them and let them go. So before we look at any more, let's look at the legendary cards that we will be fetching for or from Sisay. Nigglebol's Planeswalker. We got to have Nicky B. He is, I mean, if you're just going to fetch out a legendary permanent, it might as well be the baddest guy in the universe, or multiverse, as it were. But Nicky B is pretty good. Taneb. Also note 3 colors because it helps get her bigger, you know. Although, really, honestly, not that matters because this is a 6 casting cost card. So by the time that, you know, she would already have to be big in order to, you get what I'm saying. But I like Taneb and Intet. But now Oros is the Oros is the fun one because that combat damage trigger, it deals 3 damage to each non-white creature. Hey, guess what? All ours are white. Our guys are not taking damage. Now, of course, Fiddlethip's going to draw you a couple cards when you do it that way. Muldrotha is going to let us play cards that have died. There's Golos. Might as well, you know, the saddest robot. Arvad pumps the team. Johnny pumps the team and gives vigilance. Joda is a walking, breathing fist of suns. So that's awesome as well. Raph's going to make them all flashy. Gideon, champion of EDH, is probably, this is my favorite Gideon, and I realize that is what's the term that they use now? That's a hot take, if you will. But for Commander, this is the Gideon. Simply put, look the next time you cast any Gideon, look around the table and see how many creatures there are. This thing gets big in a hurry. I have actually cast it and been ready to ult it on the next turn. So, kind of neat. We're just going to peel through the rest of these. Lavinia, Storev, Sephora, I know she's mono white, but that didn't keep me from putting Avacyn in there either. Kethis, make things cheap. Reki, you're going to draw some cards. Teferi is, well, Teferi. Tvilis for the card draw. Legacy Weapon is your, you know, spot-on removal. Heroes Podium. It's legendary, and it's the legendary coat of arms. So, I love it. And it's got the fetch thing in there, too. And then, of course, we have the Black Blade itself. Now, Composite Golem I have in there just because, yeah, I know it's not legendary. It's because it does sack to get that Wooburg mana if hard times do come. I know there are some, you know, other cards that do it, but I don't know. I have a warm spot in my heart for Composite Golem. Awakening, this should be, by all rights, this should be a Seedborn Muse, and we all know it. But I have an Awakening. I don't have another Seedborn Muse. So let's look at the ramp, shall we? Or color fixing. There's probably more color fixing than there is ramp. Of course, we have Soul Ring into Star Compass. That's our, you know, the dream scenario. Jorah's Familiar is going to make, you know, historic, so all your legendary stuff's going to be cheaper too. Don't tell Dana Roach I'm playing with Mana Geode. Rampant Growth. Circuitous Route. Circuitous Route, I will probably always grab the 2 gates. Just simply because it's not a gate deck. I don't have that cycle going, but I am running 4 of the gates. Joiner Adept. That one, this probably needs to be a Bird of Paradise. I don't know, because it doesn't if we've got, this is kind of in case we don't have our Celestial Dawn plan going, it kind of solves our color issues, as does Frontier Guide. Y'all know how I feel about that. It's an amazing card. Of course, Queer and Elves is probably going to produce white and green. Fertilid, Secure Tribe Elder, Grow from the Ashes, Farseek, and Kamal's Druidic Vow, because, you know, we want the lands. Hey, we also want the legends, so that's cool. Diabolic Tutor helps us go get it. Now, Super Regrowth, All Suns Dawn, that's going to get us, you know, a card per color, so that's pretty sweet. Let's look at our removal package. So we got a Path and a Doomblade, Putrefy, Elder Spell. Why not? I think this is my last copy of Elder Spell that I have, but it's still amazing, and I will, every copy I get, I probably need to buy them now, because War of the Spark ain't gonna, I feel like it ain't gonna get any cheaper for the singles. I feel like the Elder Spell is just gonna start to climb. Disenchant, Return to Nature, Naturalize. Yes, artifacts and enchantments scare me. Casualties of War. Let's talk about Essence Filter. I really like this. We don't have a whole lot of enchantments in the deck, but provided that we do have some of them out, like our Celestial Dawn, if we've got the Dawn, this is the perfect card, because we can destroy all non-white enchantments. Now, the last card, I don't exactly know why this is the last non-land card to talk about, but Latnam's Legacy, I really kind of like it. There are times when you draw those cards you're just not ready for. This is an instant speed, so you can do this at the end of the turn before you and shuffle that card back in, drawing 2 later. Yeah, so that's drawing 3 on your turn. So let's look at non-basic lands. Now, if you will notice, every one of these non-basic lands, let's try to push some of the air out here, every one of these non-basics will also produce white. So I only used the white something lands, like the white-black or the white-green, white-blue. So I did that intentionally because, number one, I want to cast Sisay. Well, Blighted Woodland goes and fetches, but I want to cast Sisay, and I want to be able to cast Celestial Dawn. But I also want to be able to cast anything in the deck and activate her ability. So that's why I chose, you know, heavy white with a secondary of green because of all of the green land ramp. So Cascading Cataracts, that's kind of neat. That's more of an insurance policy than anything else. There's other lands, but this is what I had, and I haven't really built with Cascading Cataracts yet. So that's Sisay. I'm really anxious to play her. Glare. Of course, the basics that I use are in there. We'll put Sisay there. And that is it for Sisay. Number 456. And we'll go up to the wall here. And we'll put her up. Man, that block is filling up fast, is it not? It seems just like yesterday we were at deck number 400. If y'all remember the 400 deck celebration, I was on the Commanderin podcast with Phil and Shivam, and that was 56 decks ago. Wow, that seems like, it seems like forever. At the same time, it seems like yesterday. Anyway, I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, it is time to shuffle and cut